Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Aries for April 2015. What a wild time we have. I have so many things that I want to talk to you about. Go to my website, aspiritualspark.com, where you can see more about my personal life coaching. You can see more about my 28-day virtual coaching program, both of which are available on a sliding scale, both of which are intended to help you navigate the transits like the ones I'm about to talk about that have been, for many of you, just like electrifying your life, where you're like, what? Really? That kind of stuff. I put it together for all of this, everything small, everything big, everything in between, to help you navigate the astrological waters and become a spiritual ninja and have fun playing the game of life. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter where you can become part of my community. Okay, so just let's start from the beginning of the month. Well, actually, before then, happy birthday! Gosh, I want to forget that and all of these other things. Happy birthday! So most of you are going to have your birthday this month. If you've already listened to the March report and you've remembered what I said about birthday wishes, fantastic. I'm going to tell you again, just in case you haven't heard this, your birthday is one of your most powerful days of the entire year. You get 10 birthday wishes. Say them out loud. Feel them as if they're coming true. Write them down. Spend time with these. Thinking about them the weeks before your birthday. Sometimes people can feel a little funky the weeks before their birthday because the sun is spotlighting that 12th solar house, and it could be like, in your brain. It's just the spotlight is like in the nastiest part of your house, if you can imagine, like it's dark and it's gross, and then the spotlight comes on it. That's what the sun is like in the 12th house. And that's what happens the 4 weeks before your birthday. So this energy is going on. And then, of course, all that introspection leads to the rebirth, leads to all the planets moving into the first house, and you're reborn, and all of the energy is new and fresh and starts a new cycle. So do your birthday wishes and feel them as if they're coming true. That's the biggest key. Okay, so let's start from the beginning of the month. We start out at the beginning of the month, boom, right in the beginning, April 4th, we have this total lunar eclipse. And this is powerful for everybody, but it is especially powerful for Aries, Libra, Capricorn, because these players at this eclipse, we've got the full moon lunar eclipse at 14 degrees of Libra. We have Uranus in Aries opposing that 180-degree angle to that challenging angle. We have Pluto and Capricorn making a T-bone, a T-square, right? Like this, two challenging angles to this eclipse. There's so many different layers of what's going on here. Now, if you also happen to be someone who you have your birthday between around April 2nd and April 10th, somewhere around that time, or you have an Aries planet, your rising sign or your moon or something else, between around 11 degrees and 18 degrees of Aries, then you have been getting pounded, electrified, surprising, having this crap surprised out of you over the last year, just shocking things, surprising things where you're like, oh my gosh, that's all I can say. And I'm saying that personally because I have my ascendant in that grouping. And so I'm experiencing this with you. So it's been totally crazy. This is continuing, and this is setting a trend for the next 6 months because these eclipses have their stories for 6 months. Now, this particular batch of eclipses, the Pisces Virgo eclipses, are starting now. So there's also some semblance of a closing out of some of the energies of last year into the beginning of this year and a new 2-year cycle. And anything that's carried over unresolved is going to be brought with us into this next 6 months, into this next 2.5 years. Really till the end of 2017. The eclipses in the Pisces Virgo cycle will end late winter, February 2017, but then carry over 6 months into the end of 2017. So we've got old themes wrapping up, we've got new themes starting, some carry over, things electrifying you, you surprising people, people surprising you. We have to remember that full moons always bring some sort of fullness. They bring completion, they bring closures to chapters, endings to things. And this happens every month. We feel this rhythm that happens every month. But when there's a lunar eclipse on the full moon, it's in triplicate. It's multiplied times 3. So the drama, the emotions, the power, the ramifications, everything is multiplied by 3. That's happening. And so you might have had stories of this going on February, March, getting stronger into April. Something has been brewing, and it could be a carryover from last year, something that was brewing then. But it's kind of building up, it's building up, it's building up. And this time at the beginning of the month it's probably going to be super stressful, and it's probably going to be chaotic. For many people, it's going to be very uncomfortable. For those of you who are not experiencing this actively, you might be holding space for people that are. But because one of these aspects is in your sign, there's a good chance that you're going to have a tremendous amount of change occurring from this for you as well. So there's another story being told here of this me versus we versus my work and place in the world. So if your work has been blowing up in awesome ways, expanding, and your self-care and your relationship have not been able to keep a good balance because your work is expanding and you're trying to balance work, self, and relationships. This is a very common theme for Aries. This is going to come up again. So in some ways for you, many of you are having your work and your career just like totally take off, but most of you are exhausted, completely exhausted, probably can't sleep at night. The way you can feel, the way I've been feeling, Uranus, in my gut, is like I get jolted out of bed and I just can't sleep, and I'm just like, whoo, like a live wire. Like if someone touches me, they'll get zapped. Zzz, zzz. That's what you're doing. You're zapping, 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 and you can be incredibly productive with this, but it's a lot on your body. It's a lot on your body, and you probably need some support. You might need some help from a nutritionist. You might need some other supplements. You might need a grounding, something, put your feet in the earth. This is a wild time. So all of this is happening at the beginning of the month. Then we have April 8th, we have Jupiter going direct. And Jupiter is in fellow fire sign Leo, and Jupiter, of course, rules Sagittarius, so it's like all of these fire energies are blended. Anytime something is happening in one fire sign, it's accentuating, making positive angles to all the fire signs. So anything going on while Jupiter is in Leo is really extra fiery and feisty for you. So for most of you, you have had Jupiter since last summer lighting up your creativity, your house of children, your house of fun and games and hobbies and pleasure. And then at the end of the year, when Jupiter went retrograde, it started to slow down and go to sleep. And now it's going to start waking up again. So things involving kids, things involving conception, things involving creative projects, fun, romance, pleasure, hobbies, fun things like that. Many of you are going to start to have those start to ramp up. Now, some of you later degree Aries placements, you might still have some of this accentuating your fourth house. And that is your house of home and your house of family. So either way, when it starts to wake up, those things that might have seemed to have been tabled starting around December, you'll feel them starting to sparkle awake. And maybe you started to feel them start to sparkle awake at the end of February as the planets started to move into Aries, and then just getting stronger and stronger as the other planets move into Aries, then Jupiter goes direct, and it's just like a fire frenzy. All that's going on at the same time. So April 16th, Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn, and Pluto going retrograde loves it. Pluto loves to be retrograde because it goes all in and back and deep like Pluto likes to do. It just like squeals with delight in retrograde. And so anything that you're working on as far as a research project or anything going in and deep, whatever that means in your world, will be very much strengthened while Pluto is in retrograde from April 16th through September 25th. This is also a wonderful time for internal spring cleaning. So scrubbing out your insides of your mind, of your arteries, of your intestines, of your emotions, and really just leaving no stone unturned when it comes to all of these inner things. And in some ways, this is going to be really easy for you because you'll have so many things coming up, like in your face, like, oh, that's not resolved. Oh, that's not resolved. Oh, that's not resolved. That it'll just be very obvious what you need to work on, I think. So this planet Uranus sitting on the ascendant can bring very surprising behavior from you or from people you're in relationship with. You've probably noticed, many of you will have noticed that you're finding yourself do surprising things. and you might be pulling that behavior out of other people. The way that I'm seeing this energy as a positive thing is kind of like if you've seen the movie Frozen. I love the movie Frozen. When Elsa when Anna is like kind of yelling at her and asking her what her problem is and takes her glove, and then she just throws out the whole jagged ice wall and she says, "Enough!" That is the energy right there that so many Aries, especially the middle degrees, but all Aries, this energy, Uranus moving through your sign, is powerful. It's rebellious. It's not putting up with crap. And so many Aries will be very outspoken with certain things, but you've got those little things that you're not as outspoken with, that you've been giving your power away to. And this is like the time to say enough. There are certain key situations, key relationships in your life that you have been putting up with crap for far too long. Now, I talked about this some before in the time leading up to now to give you a heads up, but we're going to talk about it again. Dealing with these things by yelling, violence, threatening. I'm not saying that Aries would necessarily do that, but it is ruled by Mars, right? So we can get a little pissy sometimes, unless you have a lot of Pisces planets to offset this or something else to mitigate this. It's a very strongly, profoundly passionate energy, and it angers quickly, and the anger dissolves quickly. You're not going to get what you want by freaking out. You're not going to have the best resolution in these circumstances by your temper flaring. You have to keep it together. You have to stay focused. You have to have a plan. This time, April 21st, 22nd, is a great time for strategy. Okay? I didn't get up to that part yet, but that's what's coming next after April 18th. So April 18th is the new moon in Aries. So this is a time to start new things. And so those dates, the 18th and the 21st, 22nd, are really great to help you put together this plan of what you need to do to make peace with a situation, to set a boundary in a situation, to do it not in a passive-aggressive way, but in a way that's caring for yourself, not hating on the other person, caring for yourself. You're doing this not to get back at someone, not to be mean to someone, not to be vengeful. You're doing whatever it is because you are making movement towards caring for yourself, and you are exhausted. And certain people have to take care of their fair share of things that they have not been doing and that you have been enabling them. But the more gently you do this and the more rationally you do this, the more it's going to have a better outcome. So April 18th is the new moon in Aries. This is one of the 2 best days of the year to do a vision board. If that happens to also be your birthday, then whoa, what a powerful time. So your birthday and the new moon in Aries are the 2 best days of the year to work on what you want to create for your life. April 21st and April 22nd have Mercury and Mars in Taurus, and both of those are trining Pluto. So here at the end of the month, we have all this kind of sweet, light energy compared to the heaviness of the beginning of the month. Now, that's not going to say that we can't have some manifestations from the eclipse happen later in the month, because they're not always as nicely organized as the eclipses in the beginning of the month. So I'm going to feel all that in the beginning of the month. Sometimes pieces of the story come in after, but the general tone of the second half of the month is much sweeter, much lighter. I'm calling the theme for April bubbles and breakthroughs, because that is very much what's going on. You know, it's very bubbly energy. Lots of effervescence still coming over from March, and then just major breakthroughs. So the end of the month, we also have April 22nd. Venus is making a favorable angle, a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle, to Jupiter. And Jupiter rules big things and expansion and optimism and luck and joy and wonderful growth. And Venus rules love and beauty and money and harmony. So that is a sweet spot at the end of the month. And then April 26th, Venus then makes that same angle to Uranus, the planet of surprises. But here, a happier surprise is more likely with this particular transit, even though you could still at any time have one of the challenging Uranus aspects from this eclipse, because it's such a long-term, all-encompassing behemoth of an occurrence. So these are the things that we're working with. Major time for change, major, you major time for relationship change, for self-image change. There's a very good chance that you are undervaluing yourself. If you feel like you are worth more, you should be paid more, people are not recognizing you, 100% of the time that is because you are not recognizing yourself. And this is not usually consciously. This is usually unconsciously. So this period of time of rebirth for you, as the planets start to move into the first solar house, as your birthday comes and passes and all this energy is really brewing in this house of rebirth, then really think about what your value is, what and why you are limiting yourself, and what you need to do to not do that. That's why I created the Shine program, is to help you exactly with that. It's very much focused on helping you bring your brilliance and shine. And I'm sure there are countless other resources out there. That's one that I made for that purpose. But you can go to find EFT online. You can do any kind of searches for healing self-esteem issues. And those will all be very well placed during this time. So I can't see what's going on in your chart. I'd like very much to. Your birthday time is a wonderful time to have a reading. You can check out more information about my sliding scale by contacting me through my website for my live coaching and astrology sessions. You can check out Shine. You can become part of my community by signing up for my free email newsletter. And I hope you have a wonderful April. I'll see you next month. Bye.